This story takes place back around 2010, when I was 12. My two best friends and I, along with a few other kids in the neighborhood that were also our age, often rode bikes and explored around the neighborhood. Whenever we rode bikes, we started to notice this older, white sedan, around a late 90s model that would follow us around the neighborhood no matter what street we turned on. And they would always go very, very slow and never stop following us. They wouldn't turn in at a house or anything. This went on for several months. At first, we thought it was just a coincidence. Maybe it was someone who lived nearby and happened to be driving around the same time we were out. But as the weeks went by, it became clear that this was no random occurrence. The car was always there, lurking in the shadows, creeping along at a snail's pace. We started to feel uneasy, and our bike rides became less about fun and more about trying to lose the car. One evening, as the sun began to set and the shadows grew longer, we decided to take a different route. We rode our bikes down a narrow, overgrown path that led into the woods. We hoped that the car wouldn't be able to follow us there. The path was bumpy and filled with roots and rocks, but we pedaled as fast as we could, our hearts pounding in our chests. To our relief, the car didn't follow us down the path. We stopped to catch our breath, laughing nervously at our successful escape. But our relief was short-lived. As we turned to head back home, we saw something that made our blood run cold. Standing at the edge of the path, partially hidden by the trees, was a figure. It was tall and thin, with long, lanky arms, and a face that was obscured by the shadows. We couldn't make out any details, but we could feel its eyes on us. We didn't stick around to find out who or what it was. We jumped back on our bikes and pedaled as fast as we could, not daring to look back. When we finally burst out of the woods and onto the familiar streets of our neighborhood, the figure was gone. But the white sedan was back, parked at the corner, its engine idling quietly. That night, I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the figure standing at the edge of the woods, watching us. I told my parents about the car and the figure, but they dismissed it as my overactive imagination. It's just someone who lives nearby, they said. There's nothing to worry about. But I knew better. Something wasn't right. The next day, I met up with my friends, and we decided to do some investigating. We rode our bikes around the neighborhood, keeping an eye out for the white sedan. Sure enough, it was there, following us at a distance. We led it on a wild chase, turning down random streets and doubling back, trying to see who was driving. But no matter what we did, we couldn't get a good look at the driver. As the days went by, the car seemed to get bolder. It would park outside our houses, its engine running, as if waiting for us to come out. We started to feel like prisoners in our own homes, too scared to go outside. One night, I woke up to the sound of gravel crunching outside my window. I peeked through the curtains and saw the white sedan parked in my driveway. The driver's side door was open, but I couldn't see anyone inside. Terrified, I woke my parents. But by the time they looked outside, the car was gone. They still didn't believe me, thinking it was just a bad dream. But I knew it was real. The next day, I found a note slipped under our front door. It was written in shaky, almost illegible handwriting, and simply said, "I see you." We were all on edge after that. We stopped riding our bikes and stayed indoors as much as possible. But the car didn't go away. It would still appear at random times, always watching, always waiting. One evening, as the sun set and the sky turned a deep, foreboding shade of red, we decided to confront the driver. We gathered our courage and approached the car, which was parked at the end of the street. As we got closer, we could see that the windows were tinted, making it impossible to see inside. My friend Jason knocked on the driver's side window. There was no response. He knocked again, harder this time. The window slowly rolled down, and we were hit with a wave of cold, stale air. Inside, the car was empty. The driver's seat was covered in dust, and the dashboard was cracked and faded. It looked like it hadn't been driven in years. We backed away, confused and scared.